So when I say what makes you different, let me drill down. No, let me not drill down. Let me ask you a question. What makes you different? I would ask you this question, what makes your brand different? I know I got some bullet points up here. Start talking to me. What makes you different? What will make your brand different? What's important to you think to your customers? Which is your brand? Any ideas?
I increase creativity in my clients.
Creativity.
Yeah, so sometimes when people come with ideas, they need to be able to have a very simple thing left with still be creative about the culture. And so I'm able to do that and also be very reasonable and plan things out so we can be very successful.
I hear three things, four things. I hear creativity, I hear simplicity of focus, and strategic. Good. There was one other one I missed, but that's very good. Anybody else? What makes you different? Go ahead.
Outstanding customer service. They go above and beyond what they expect, and those little things. Remember their birthday, client appreciation, those kind of things.
So I hear two things: outstanding customer service and attention to detail. Anybody else?
Emotional connection.
Emotional connection. Talk to us.
Availability and affordable pricing.
Okay, outstanding. Emotional connection. Consistency. Outstanding.
Educating the consumer.
Educating the consumer. Okay. Now, what makes you different about educating the consumer, though? Because everybody can say, I'm educating the consumer.
Well, I have a natural hair school, and so we teach not only, we teach our clients about themselves. So they get to know about their body and natural hair.
So I'm hearing personalization. Do you see how I'm recapping what they're saying? And I'm using a slightly different choice of words to put it in very simplistic language. It's key, something we want to think about. I'm going to take one other example. Anybody else? Please.
I would have to say fit the purpose.
You're fitting the purpose. So you understand what the need is,
Exactly.
you're going to fit the purpose. Fill that void.
Yes.
Outstanding. Can we give you guys a round of applause? Real good. So let's if we move on to the next slide. So now this is going to get a little more academic for a second and a little bit more corporate. But what I've learned in my career, a lot of the principles that I've learned in corporate America, I apply to my own business. I really do. So I do apply SWOT analysis myself. I can tell you my strengths and weaknesses, and my opportunity areas, and the threats. This helps me to figure out where I need to concentrate my time and my efforts. Who do I need to market to? Who do I need to talk to? Okay, so if we haven't done so, give some consideration into doing some type of SWOT analysis. If we go to the next slide, what's going to happen is you're going to begin to identify gaps. So here's a simple way of saying it. This is how I perceive myself with my left hand. This is how others perceive me. Between the two is a gap. You want a fun exercise. Greg and I have done this as well. I keep picking on him, but he can relate to this. Here's an exercise for yourself personally. You got to have good friends. You can't take it personally. Do this exercise. Ask yourself, how do you perceive yourself? Then in a casual environment situation, call a good friend, call real friends. How do you see me? Well, you want a humbling experience? You want a humbling experience? You can't get defensive? Greg and I have done it. He's heard me honestly. I've heard that from him honestly. But you know what? It's a worthwhile exercise. Similarly for your business. Understand your gap, how you're currently being perceived. And then the question becomes my competitive strengths and weaknesses. Look, let me cut to the chase. You can't be all things to all people. Okay, when I came out of Eastern Michigan, I ran track for 2 years at Eastern. I competed against U of L, Notre Dame, Michigan State. But after 2 years, I walked away. Because I knew I wasn't going to make any money. I wasn't going to be All-American. We won the Mid-America Conference. But my weakness is, I was number 1 in Oakland County, but at Eastern Michigan, I was number 3. So I said, I had to ask myself a hard question. Do I want to continue to compete? I said no. But instead, I got involved in student government and got elected president of the student body in those days. So my point, though, understand your strengths and your weaknesses as a business. So we go to the next slide. As you understand this part of your business, let me just lay out for you at a very high level your brand components, things that you need to be aware of as you're thinking about your brand, your business. One, what is your vision? Not your mission statement, what is your long-term vision for you? See, mine is very simple. I want a few years, I went to part-time consulting, teach and play golf for today. That's it. I have 2 lovely kids, as I mentioned, 27 and 25. I'm an empty nester. So hey, I'm starting to get there. It's a slow process, but eventually I want to get there. What's your positioning statement? How do you want to position yourself? How do you want to position your business? Recognize your points of difference, your strengths and weaknesses. We talked about this before. But finally, the critical part of this, what is your communications plan? How many of us use some type of social media? It may be half of us. Of the half not using social media, why aren't you using it if you're a business owner? Yeah, I'm going to put you right on the spot. I want you to think about that question. So a question I get is this. You must have a large media budget. I said, why is that? He said, well, I see you in the Chronicle, I see you in Cranes, I see you on television, I hear your voice on radio, blah, 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 blah. They list everything I do. They said, how much is your marketing budget? I said, well, I'm not going to tell you, but I will tell you this. It's not as much as you think. And what I've been able to do is to identify critical things for me personally, my business. But I augment that with my social media. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Lead Group. I have cards out there with my information on it. It's at Lead Group. I use that to promote my business. I use it to promote my articles. I use it to provide tips and resources to people. I use LinkedIn. I use Facebook, but I keep that very social. When I say social, I don't tell people I'm out drinking. You never see a picture of me with a drink in my hand. I tell this to my kids. I tell this to my students. I may say something as simple as, wait, bring me, go Tigers. That's it, go Lions. Now the last couple of days, and I don't make any political statements, the only thing I said in the last couple of days on Facebook, Doc Rivers, classy guy. Nothing controversial. You understand where I'm coming with this? Because no matter where you are, it reinforces your brand. I would encourage you, because a lot of us don't have large marketing budgets, effectively integrate your traditional versus your non-traditional. Then think about your network. Talk to people. Right? Talk to people. Think about your friends, your families, and your contacts. An efficient way of reaching out and getting your message out. So communications plan is critical. So if we go to the next slide, again, I'm going to skip this. I talked about the vision statement. The only point I want to make is this. It's more aspirational, but it should be shortened to the point. Your mission statement, this is where we get confused. The mission statement is, very simply put, why do you go to work every day? That's it. It's not a 3-paragraph mantra. It's not a 2-paragraph mantra. Mission statements are getting very short. In some cases, they're less than 10 words. American Red Cross, provide disaster relief to people in need. That's the mission statement. That's it. 5 words. That's it. Detroit Railway's mission statement, or vision statement, is true. When they were losing years ago in the mid-'80s, they could fill the seats downtown. Their vision at the time was to become the premier sports team in all sports in North America. Although they lost in the playoffs, many people still perceive the Red Wings to be that. Many people put the Red Wings and the Yankees in the same breath. The difference is, people, I know the Yankees spend a ton of money, but my point is that the team has lived that vision. They came up with a mission statement back then. We're going to hire first-rate players. So we got a guy named Steve Eiserman. We need to get some other players. We got a guy named Nick Lidstrom. You get the idea. The mission statement was to put the best team on the ice. Had a wonderful experience last week. I was overjoyed. I watched Bad Boys on ESPN. Boy, did that bring back some memories. I still jump out of my seat. But you look at the best of the players back then, and you get their interviews. and how consistent what they said in the 30/30 special ESPN. They knew exactly what their mission was. They knew why they were going to work every day. So if we go to the next slide, here's a concept I've kind of introduced in a different way. A lot of people call it a brand promise, but I call it a brand-defining idea. And simply put, a brand-defining idea is the cornerstone of your business, and it captures the essence of your business. That's it. I mean, think about what I just said, the cornerstone. When you build a building, there's a cornerstone. What holds you up? What is your foundation? So it basically says, who are you? What do you represent? And what makes you different? That's your brand-defining idea. As an entrepreneur, think about what your BDI is and how you're going to use that to your advantage. Let me pause. Is this making sense? Are you tracking? Is this good? Am I off base? Okay, you're tracking with every step of the way. All right, so we go to the next slide. We talked about it, but let me give you a real-life example. Southwest Airlines. Their brand-defining idea is this. Okay, it's not just to have fun. I actually did a research on a case study on them. It's freedom. Freedom. The freedom to what? Move around the country. That's the brand-defining idea. The freedom to offer you low prices, to have fun. The flight attendants have a great time with you. That's the brand-defining idea. Everything they do ties into that concept called enjoy freedom. Everything they do. So it's not a tagline. So Nike's brand-defining idea is not just do it. That's a tagline or a commercial. But it could be something as simple as, focusing on athletic health or focusing on health. I don't know what it is specifically, but you get the idea. That brand-defining idea drives everything that you do. As a business owner, I encourage you to think about it. Now go back to my example. Mr. Lee, you have 24 hours. I could have complained and said no. I would have missed out on some money. So part of my brand-defining idea is this, is I always respond in a timely manner, unless you're a cold call. I don't know you. I return every single phone call I get. I return every text message I get. Unless I just don't know yet. But you get the idea.